School is in session and Bobcat Breakdown is back. Who will be crowned Bobcat of the Week? What lyric best describes the Quinnipiac men's soccer team? And what is wrong with the defending champs, Quinnipiac Rugby? All of that and a whole lot more. Bobcat Breakdown, next 30. Let's roll. Here we go. Bobcat Breakdown is back. Welcome inside Studio 125. Brian Schwartz here, you there. And with me to break it all down are my guys, Josh Silverman and Kyle Lavasser. How we doing, boys?
We're doing well. I already beat Kyle in 2K today.
Oh!
So I'm looking forward to beating him again on the desk tonight.
I didn't realize we were bringing up 2K, but all right. I mean, the audience is going to get a chance to see what it's like at our house when we're actually debating sports. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen tonight.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Than that, though. I'm just going to let you know.
We'll see about that.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. All right, let's start this off on the pitch. The three-time defending national champs are now 0-2. Quinnipiac Rugby fell to Dartmouth Saturday 40-22 in a championship rematch. The Bobcats cut the deficit to as little as 6 at the 72-minute mark when Clara Lamal Brown scored the second try of her freshman season. Quinnipiac couldn't muster anything else after that. Now, Kyle, let's turn to you first, our in-house rugby reporter. What isn't working for the Bobcats right now?
Well, Brian, 0-2. That's definitely an eye-popper for a team that has won 3 national championships in a row. I can understand why fans think there's a reason to panic. I mean, 0-2, they haven't started that bad since their inaugural season back in 2011. So obviously, it's understandable why people are concerned, but I'm not too concerned with this team. This is a team starting at the top that has huge experience with Becky Carlson. I think she is the best coach here on Quinnipiac's campus. She knows how to win. She has 2 amazing captains that knows how to right the ship. And then their freshmen, we'll get to their experience later, how there's only 9 freshmen on the team and only 2 seniors. But there's a lot of talent on this team. They've faced 2 very difficult opponents to start the season. Harvard made it to the NIRA national semifinals last year, and Dartmouth was in the championship game. So those are 2 of the hardest teams you can face in the entire country to start your season. Once you get past those teams, it's going to be a little easier going on. And I think they're confident right now, which is really the biggest thing. They said they played 2 of their best games that they've ever seen, so I'm very confident about this team going forward.
No, Kyle, I agree with you, so I guess we're not going to start with the debate. My thing is, when you're a 3-time national defending champion, which is what you said, the bar is set so high. So when you don't immediately meet that bar, when you go 0-2, the bar's here. If you're here, that's cause for concern. Not for us. We don't seem concerned. But if people are concerned, there's no reason to concern. The only thing is, look, they're just not as talented of a team as they have been in the past. They've graduated a lot of players that were experienced in winning national championships. So when you have 9 freshmen, which you mentioned, of course you're going to take a step back. Any program would take a step back under those situations. So I'm not concerned at all. We'll get to exactly how concerned we are, but
I mean, sports. Any team's going to go 0-2 at some point, especially when you're losing 5 All-Americans, the best player they've ever had in their program. It's sports. They're human. They're not robots.
Right.
I'm not too concerned.
And it's not professional sports. There's no contracts. There's no Cleo Mack you can trade away. It's only this. This is all you have. 4 years. So you can't extend players. It is what it is.
I mean, you guys already said it. You're not really concerned, but let's still bring out the good old panic meter. Josh, on a scale of not worried to red alert, where are you with the defense of this Bobcats team?
Brian, I'm cautious. That's what I am. I'm cautious. I'm cautious because through the first 2 games this year, they've surrendered 72 points as opposed to 44 points last year. I still have so much confidence in Becky Carlson, but my problem is that that's a little bit of a gap in terms of being concerned a little bit. I'm not too worried about it, but like I've said, this team is just not as talented because they have so many freshmen, because they've graduated players. So there's a cause for concern a little bit. I'm cautious, but it's nothing that I'm losing sleep over, that anyone on this team should be losing sleep over.
Yeah, Josh. I mean, we'll start with their defense. I know I've been saying that I'm not concerned, but when we break it up, I am a little bit concerned with their defense. They've allowed way too many points in their first couple games. I attribute it really to the competition they're playing. Dartmouth brought back a whole load of amazing players from their national finalist team, so they know how to score. And when you have a lot of new players on their team, on Quinnipiac's team, a lot of them haven't played rugby in the past. They're just freak athletes that Becky Carlson molds into great rugby players. So it's going to take a little bit for them to learn how to tackle, for them to learn the different schemes and the rules of the game. So I just attribute it to they haven't had enough time yet, and their defense will, adapt as the season goes on.
So it's all about adapting.
The freshmen have had to take on a big-time role on this team, as a few of their key pieces graduated last season. So what about the inexperience, Kyle? Give me on the scale.
Right, this might sound a little weird, but I'm cool as a cucumber right now, Brian. I'm not worried one bit. They have 9 freshmen on their team compared to 2 seniors, as I said earlier. But I think it comes down to the expectations for this year. They've won 3 national championships in a row. 4 would be unbelievable, but I don't think people are expecting them to win another national championship when they've lost so much talent. So with the expectations maybe dropped a little bit compared to past seasons, not that it's a rebuilding year, but they have a little more time. And now that they have a whole big 9-person freshman class, they're going to have them for 4 years. So that's possible titles in the future. So whether they're looking for this year or not, they have a nice program set up for a few years. They have a plethora of talented freshmen. Look for Clara Lamal Brown. She is a star in the making. Her speed, her agility, I've never seen anything like this, Josh. It's unbelievable. She makes plays out of nothing. She's right on the wing, so you don't see her as often. She might only get the ball once or twice a game, but if Quinnipiac's back line can, pass it off to her on the wing a few more times each game, you better believe they're going to be scoring because her talent is through the roof.
I believe it. For me, I'm not concerned at all. I'm sorry, I am concerned, but only for this year.
Is that a Freudian slip? I don't know about that.
Well, you're the one talking about cucumbers, so you threw me off a bit. I am concerned a little bit. I'll tell you why. I'm only concerned for this year. Again, it's the 8 freshmen as opposed to 2 seniors. That leadership, coaching, Becky Carlson's great, but coaching can only do so much. You still need those players. You said some of them are still being molded to being rugby players at their Division I level. So I'm concerned for this year, but the future is as bright as it was a few years ago when they won three back-to-back national champions.
Back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back-to-back, exactly. I'm concerned for this year. In the future's bright. I'm not concerned at all. As Kyle would say, I'm cool as a cucumber.
Josh, let's play a little what if. What if they face Dartmouth again in the postseason? Can they win? What would the panic meter be like if they had to face the Big Green again?
You know what, Brian? The panic meter would be, well, first of all, I'm not concerned if they were to play them again because I think that they will be able to grow into a team that can compete with Dartmouth. They lost already to Dartmouth this year, but they also lost to Dartmouth last year. That game was at Dartmouth. This one is home, so it's a little bit of a difference, but it's really not that much. It's not enough for me to be concerned at all. I think with each game, again, the freshmen, it's what I keep going back to because it's a huge issue. With each game, they will only get better, be more comfortable in the system, build chemistry with each other. So I'm not concerned that if they were to meet Dartmouth again, I think they will be able to take them.
Did you say you're not concerned that to face a team that was in the national championship last year? That's like saying, you're a big basketball guy, Josh. That's like saying you're not concerned facing the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. Now he's now no longer on the team. But facing the Golden State Warriors, similar type of thing. You wouldn't be concerned facing them at all because it's a similar type thing. Facing Dartmouth again, since they were in the national championship.
Yeah, but the Warriors lose to the Cavs during the regular season and then sweep them during the finals. What I'm saying is what I'm seeing and what they've done in the past is not enough for me to be concerned. They lost to Dartmouth last year, and they still won the national championship. So why is one loss enough for me to be concerned this year? I don't see how it's different other than the players on the team, which I've already addressed, which is why I'm concerned. But this I took as an independent question.
I also take it as they did lose at home this year where they have dominated in the past. So losing at home to me, and also the margin that they lost is a little bit different. I am a bit cautious. Whenever you face a team that made it to the national championship, you have to show them some respect. So saying that I'm not cautious at all, I think is a bit disrespectful. Dartmouth is an amazing team, but I still am confident. Like you said, Quinnipiac lost last year to Dartmouth in the regular season, beat them in the championship. I think it's still possible that they beat them again.
Well, to face them in the playoffs, they have a long road to go, starting off at 0-2. Meanwhile, Quinnipiac field hockey is still without a home win. The Bobcats fell to number 19 Maine over the weekend 3-2. The game was competitive and Quinnipiac played well, Black Bears just too talented in the end. So just like Quinnipiac Rugby, a lot of freshmen make up this field hockey team. Would you consider this a rebuilding year for Becca Main, Josh?
Well, first of all, Becca Main has said it's not a rebuilding year. I'm going to go against her a little bit, but rebuilding doesn't have to be negative. You can rebuild and still win. 12 of the 24 players on the roster are new players. So anytime you have a 50% roster turnover, I don't know how it's at least considered a rebuilding year. That doesn't mean they can't compete. When they played Maine, they lost 3-2, and the 1 goal difference was a penalty stroke. That's one player versus goalie Hannah Teicher, 2 feet away from each other. That's going to go in almost every time. So of course I'm not concerned. I don't think it's a rebuilding year. I think this team is fine. They will play.
I'm a little confused, Josh. So you said you're going to disagree with Becca Main a little bit. So just clarify. Do you think it's a rebuilding year or not?
Yeah, I do think it's a rebuilding year, but I don't think that comes with a negative connotation. I think rebuilding just means that you have new players in a new system. You can rebuild. The Patriots can rebuild at certain points and win championships. This team can do the same thing. This team, first of all, it's not like the last 2 years they've made the Big East tournament. So rebuilding, had to come eventually. They graduated a lot of seniors, Lauren Belsky, Dana Barlow. So now they have new players. I think this team is very good. That I think they should make the Big East tournament. So it's rebuilding the fact that they have new players, but not in the fact that they're going to take a step back this year.
I don't know why anyone would consider it a rebuilding year. There are 3 losses that they've had this year. They've lost to very competitive teams.
The 50% roster turnover.
Well,
make it
okay, sure, but they're still playing competitively.
That's what I'm saying.
If you look at their 3 losses, one of them was against the 13th best team in the country, Boston College. Okay, I can understand that. Number 19, Maine, who's 5-0. They're undefeated this year. They lost to Maine. Okay, I understand that. And then they lost to Michigan State, who's a Big Ten team. I can understand that as well. I think they're going to be ready come Big East play. Becca Main is an unbelievable coach. She does a fantastic job getting her team ready during out-of-conference play, getting them prepared for Big East play. She knows what to do. She knows how to act in the Big East, how to bring that professional mindset to them, even if they have 12 freshmen on the team. Livy Galini, I know that's kind of been the big story, how she was the captain last year, she was the starting goalie, now she's gone. I don't see it as that big of a deal. I never thought that she was one of the top elite goalies in Big East. Hannah Teicher has been doing fine for them, not amazing yet, but I think once she gets a little more experience, Teicher will respond to the adversity. But I think it's not a rebuilding year.
Livy Galini transferring, that could have kickstarted a rebuild per se. She left for Boston University. Hannah Teicher now in goal for the Bobcats. Is she the answer to take Quinnipiac to the next level in the Big East, Kyle?
No, I think she's fine, but I don't think she's the answer. She's a senior. She's only played in 4 career games leading up to the season. She's played in 4 games now, only 1 start before the season. I don't think she has the experience to bring this team into a run in the Big East playoffs. When you look at the other teams in the Big East, you got UConn, of course, one of the best teams in the country, won the national championship last year. You have Old Dominion, Georgetown, amazing teams in the Big East. I don't think she has the experience in the playoffs to stand up against those teams. But what do you think, Josh? You're the field hockey guru here. What are your thoughts on Teicher?
Well, before I answer the question, I just want to throw a little stats out there. She's only allowing an average of 2 goals against per game, saving 70% of the shots. That's enough to have your team win games, or at least be competitive in games. But 2 reasons why she's a top goalie. Nina Klein came over from UConn. They hired her as she's now an associate head coach here at Quinnipiac. She is highly regarded as one of the best goalies to ever play field hockey in any conference. She played for UConn, and she's doing wonders with Hannah Teicher. Becca Main told me on Saturday that she's not even worried about Hannah in goal during the games, that she trusts Hannah. She doesn't even have to think about her. And Nina is working with Hannah every day to get her better. She's going to have her improving in different ways that Hannah didn't even know were possible. I'm excited to see how Hannah develops and what the Bobcats can do moving forward.
I'm glad you brought up Nina Klein because she's won 3 national championships at UConn, a historic program. She knows what it takes to win. The reason, and you brought up Teicher's stats from earlier. Both her save percentage and her goals against, they're not anything that impressive. She's 7th out of 9 goalies in Big East with stats so far. But you
mentioned the hard out of conference schedule, though.
It is, yes, that's very true. But those other teams have also had very tough out-of-conference schedules. So I think it will take some time for the coach and the goalie to adapt together and learn, and she will improve.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about the stats. Josh, we were both at that game. I was on the call. You were there. And Teicher looked good in goal.
She looked
played
good.
very
she looked
well
great against Maine
a
also.
very
I
good
mentioned
team.
the one goal. I know I don't want to talk over you, but I mentioned the one goal. It was a penalty stroke. I mean, always it's a 2-2 game. We go into overtime. So I don't know. I mean, I think Kyle's a little wrong.
I mean, Maine is number 19 in the country. They're a good team. Time to take a quick break on the program. When we come back, Josh and Kyle are going to sing, maybe. And has Dave Clark been able to replace Nadia Gill on the Quinnipiac women's soccer team? We'll discuss back after this on Bobcat Breakdown.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
If you like debate,
That's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing.
analysis,
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
and a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Let's get it going. Sports Pulse starts right now. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite? Start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life.
Bobcat Breakdown on Q30 Television is sponsored by the Quinnipiac Bobcats Sports Network. Check out all of our content at Q30TV.com and theqbsn.com. All right, Quinnipiac men's soccer, Q30 men's soccer beat reporter Ryan Flaherty breaks down why the Bobcats don't have to worry just yet.
With a loss on Friday, the Quinnipiac men's soccer team fell to 0-3-1 on the season. But don't start jumping off the Bobcats bandwagon just yet because there were a lot of positives that came in these first 4 games. The most important being the resurgence of junior forward Eamon Whalen. In his first year with the Bobcats, he led the team with 11 goals and 22 points on 42 shots and was named 2016 MAC Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, he was not able to duplicate those numbers last season as he tallied just 2 goals and an assist as a sophomore. The good news for the Bobcats is that he looks to be back in freshman form as he has scored all 4 Quinnipiac goals in 2018. Whalen was awarded MAC Offensive Player of the Week honors for his hot start and figures to be a weapon for the Bobcats as they enter conference play later this month. In addition to Whalen's outburst, the Bobcats offense as a whole has done very well with controlling the ball and attacking opposing defenses. After their opening day loss to Boston College, in which they played a more defensive style, they started to press teams and use a more aggressive approach, which has led to more scoring chances. Although the results haven't shown up in the win column, it's only a matter of time before this team breaks through. Another positive has been the strong play of both Chrysostomos Iakovidis and Jared Mazzola in goal. Both keepers have made outstanding saves and have continuously kept this team in games, giving them multiple chances to win in the second half. If Whalen can continue to produce at a high level and the Bobcats' aggressive play style continues to give teams troubles, then we could be looking at a dangerous team come playoff time and nobody will even remember 0-3-1.
All right, thank you. Josh and Kyle, I know you guys love to sing, am I right?
Yes, I love to sing. I'm horrible at singing.
Yeah, you should hear him in the shower, Brian. It's not pretty. It's not good.
I've heard him, not in the shower, but I've heard him sing. Let's bring out the vocal cords in this new segment called Lyrical Genius. The guys are going to give you a song lyric to describe the Quinnipiac men's soccer team right now. Hopefully sing it for us and describe why they chose it. Kyle, let's hear it.
I'm doing everyone a favor and not singing it, but I chose.
What?
Come on.
That's not what we agreed upon.
All right. So, okay, I didn't prepare for this to sing, so I didn't.
Wait, you didn't warm up your voice?
Well, not like that. I mean, I need some nice ice water.
Come on.
I'll be fine. It's from one of Josh's and mine favorite bands, Linkin Park. I'm breaking the habit. You got it?
I got it. Yeah.
Tonight. So Lincoln Park, I think it describes the men's soccer team perfectly right now. They've had a very tough out-of-conference schedule leading up to today. But this team always starts slow. And I think the men's soccer team, as we've seen in past years, they're going to be one of the best teams in the MAC. You know why, Josh?
Why?
Eamon Whalen. He is one of the best goal scorers I've ever seen. He already has 4 goals in 5 games. We weren't sure how he was going to do going into the season, but he's proven everyone that he is back to the form he was his freshman year. He is one of the best goal scorers in the MAC. Just Quinnipiac needs a little more support around him. That's really it. Their defense is solid. They have 2 very good goalies in Chris Yakovitis and Jared Mazzola, a sophomore transfer from Virginia Commonwealth. He played in 2 very difficult games against the University of New Hampshire as well as North Carolina State, both ranked teams, top 25 teams in the country. He only allowed 1 goal against both. He has an .875 save percentage. We know what Chris Yakovitis can do. So Eric DaCosta can really go to both goalies whenever he needs to. And this team really starts with their defense. That's when their teams are successful. Eric DaCosta wins when he has a solid defense. So if the defense is going to put up like they have, it really just comes down to me having more depth with their scoring. They're going to break the habit. They're going to stop losing. They're going to break the winless streak that they've had, and they're finally going to find a win pretty soon.
That was good. Props for that.
Man,
Are you excited to hear me sing? All right, I'm going to kick it old school, a little Guardians of the Galaxy. Ooh, child, things are going to get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter.
Yeah.
So obviously, here's why. They have a very tough out-of-conference schedule. Today they played NC State. They only lost 1-0. First of all, last year at this time, they'd only scored 1 goal, like to date. They had only scored 1 goal. They have 4 goals this year, and they still finished 6-4 in conference play last year. I like that they scheduled really tough out-of-conference games. NC State was only a 1-0 loss today. I'm not at all concerned with this team. Things will get brighter. Things will get easier in conference play. I'm projecting 6 or 7 conference victories for this team. They're projected 4th in the coaches' preseason poll. I don't see them finishing any lower, probably 4th or 3rd. The out-of-conference schedule, how tough it is, will only help them as long as they're not discouraged. The scoring was a problem last year. It was a little bit of a problem this year, but I'm not worried about it.
And they shouldn't be discouraged because all of their games have been so close. You said North Carolina State, they're the 8th best team in the country, and they only lost 1-0.
I agree. And look, everyone wants to win. People are competitive by nature. These D1 athletes are so competitive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your conference record doesn't mean anything for the postseason tournament. So if you're getting better and playing tougher teams than you'll play during the regular season, lose every game. Personally, I don't care. I mean, they care, but the record doesn't care. The MAC tournament doesn't care. That's my opinion.
Josh, you want to hear my vocal cords?
Yes.
Ain't
I've
about
actually never
how
heard you sing.
fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side.
Oh, boy.
It's the climb. Yeah, I'm not on American Idol for a reason,
This is a good
right?
segment, though. I like this.
It's the climb for the men's soccer team. They're going to get there. They'll be fine. Let's shift gears to the women's side now. Winners of 2 in a row. Quinnipiac women's soccer has some momentum as it begins conference play this week. Josh, we know what Nadia Gill was able to do in her 3-year career as a Bobcat. Has Dave Clark been able to replace her?
Well, Brian, in my opinion, you can't replace a player like that. Nadia Gill was fantastic for the Bobcats. She was fantastic on offense. She was just a leader and someone that was good for the Bobcats to have. At the same point, it's not like they were winning championships with her on the team. It's not like they were destroying opponents. Obviously, last year they won a game 11-0, but it's not like she was a scoring machine, but it wasn't like she led them to, multiple MAC championships or anything like that. So for me, the next player that's stepping up and will eventually become her is Lauren Triglione. She's on her way to doing it. She already has 3 goals this year and 1 assist. And, she's just a player that can step into that role in terms of being someone that they can look to when they need a goal. But in terms of just replacing Nadia Gill, the special thing she was able to do on the field, I mean, I don't think there's any replacing that. At the same point, it's not like she was this, player that led them to multiple championships.
Did you read my notes before the show or during the commercial break? I have basically the same thing. Nadia Gill, so I'll keep it short. But Nadia Gill, one of the best players that Quinnipiac has ever seen. But the way they're going to replace her is through depth, which they've had. 8 people have scored on this team already this season, compared to the men's soccer team who only has 1 player that scored this season. So you might not have as high of a ceiling with players, but if you have a bunch of very good players, that's almost just as valuable, Josh, because Nadia Gill might have an off day. She might get hurt. You don't know what's going to happen. But if you have an arsenal of goal scorers, you can go to any of them at any different moment.
And I agree with you. I mean, I hate to always bring it back to professional sports and everything, but it's like the Calvin Johnson effect a little bit, where you focus so much and game plan so much for one player that the other players around them, they don't get to develop. Obviously, Dave Clark is a great coach, so he's not. I'm not faulting him or accusing him of doing anything like that. But when you don't have one player that everyone's paying attention to in practice and the defense is paying attention to, you're able to get your whole team involved. That's so valuable for any team.
Just one last thing, Brian. They have the same record at this point in the year as they did last year with Gill. So their record's saying there's really not too much of a difference. Out of conference, but still.
The next season gets going very soon for the Quinnipiac women's soccer team. But for us, it's time to take another break. We'll give you our Bobcats of the week and, of course, our final roars to close the show. We'll be right back.
Hello, and tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and, frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Q-Cash is accepted.
Now that's a sandwich.
These my children!
Let's get it going. Sports Pulse starts right now. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite? Start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Time to award our Bobcats of the week. Who was the most impressive to you? Kyle, start us off.
Brian, again, it might sound weird because they're 0-2, but to me, it's the women's rugby captain, co-captain, Mika Maples. She has 2 tries already this season in 2 games, and I think she has the hardest shoes to fill in any team in fall sports. She is replacing Alona Marr's position on the field. Alona Marr, I said it on Sports Pause last night, Monday nights at 9:30. I said it that Alona Marr is the best player Quinnipiac rugby has ever seen. She might even be the best athlete Quinnipiac sports has ever seen. She's that good, a once-in-a-generation player. Mika Maples has to fill those shoes. She's also a captain of a team with only 2 seniors and so many underclassmen. Mika Maples, she's a great athlete, doing a great job so far. I think she'll continue it and get even better as the season progresses.
Mine, I'll keep it kind of short, is Morgan Sherwin on the volleyball team. First of all, she made all tournament honors after this weekend's contest at the Hampton Inn Invitational. She had 27 kills in that tournament. She's tied on the team for most amount of kills with 87. She's second on the team in points. And she's just a player that has come into this Bobcats team and really helped them progress, in this year. And I'm looking forward to see what she does later on in the season.
Oh yes, it's time. We've waited all summer to roar again. Here we go. Josh, your final roar. Start us off.
All right, here we go. For my final roar, I want to talk about competition. However, this isn't competition between Quinnipiac teams. It's competition between us, people on the desk, the tens of people behind the scenes, and the hundreds in student media organizations across the country. It's a good bet that when any of them told people that they are studying journalism, that those same people have cautioned them about how competitive the field is. What they don't understand is that competition isn't a bad thing. Competition is part of what drives us to be better. It makes us show up to games earlier and stay later editing our scripts. Competition is a great thing, so please keep telling us about how competitive the field is. It will only make us work that much harder.
Oh, I like that, Josh. I hope all the new members of Q30 take a nice page out of your book. All right, for me, ECAC Women's Hockey announced its preseason all-conference team this morning. No Quinnipiac players made the list after a lackluster season last winter. Quinnipiac Women's Ice Hockey has had plenty of players named to the all-conference teams in past years. TT Cianfrano was the Player of the Year, and Sydney Rossman was the Goaltender of the Year in 2016. With the Bobcats about to start what they hope is a bounce-back season, the big question is, who will step up? Perhaps it will be goalie Abby Ives to break out after a full season under her belt. Maybe it's Melissa Samoskevich, who has the potential to be an elite goal scorer in the league. Maybe it's even one of the freshmen who will step up a la Odine Tufto. One thing's for sure, Quinnipiac needs an emerging star to return to its glory.
Fall sports, almost the forgotten ones. The freshmen get to Quinnipiac in August and go out to grab their Quinnipiac ice hockey jerseys. The students constantly hear about Baker, Trish, a matchup with UConn last March, a big game with Villanova coming up, the Women's Frozen Four in Hampton this season. Sounds great, right? How about a Big East team? How about, get this, a 3-time national champion? That's Quinnipiac field hockey and rugby. Yes, it's been a rough start for both teams this year, but they're both young, they're both hungry, and most importantly, so well coached. Call it a rebuilding year? You can. Let's be real, neither are rebuilding. They're young, but they're ready to win. So don't forget about them. They're here, and they're on the rise. Well, guys, that's how we start off a year. How about that? Thanks to my guys Josh Silverman and Kyle Lavasser on the desk. Great job by the production crew and behind-the-scenes crew, as always, here at Q30 Television. Be sure to follow all of our content at Q30TV.com and theqbsn.com. And, of course, follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports and at QBSN. For Josh, Kyle, and everyone else, I'm Brian Schwartz. See ya.